Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's have this conversation going. Good morning, everybody. Wakey, wakey. It's time for Morning Glory. My name is MC Kalia, and I'll be your captain for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's
in this era, so many people discuss mental health, but then somebody yesterday told me that we've really discussed it so much that it's common that people no longer care about it. So it remains to be said and very little to be done. And so at this particular time, we decided that today on the square we'll have men to discuss their mental health, because it's very common also for somebody to tell you when mwanaume bwana. But then we're seeing men also committing suicide, or rather dying. So what that means is that this is a topic that needs to be discussed. And so today we have two gentlemen from an organization called the David's Company. We have Ian Mwangi, and also we have Steve. Also on the same note, we have Mr. Fred, who is also a psychologist, to just help us put this topic together. So I'll start with Mr. Mwangi. Go ahead. Of course, I've already mentioned your name, but then do the better introduction.
Thank you very much, MC Kalia, for such a wonderful opportunity that you have given to us, especially as men. I am very glad to be here to discuss such an important topic that is so crucial, especially for men, yet very little discussed and little addressed amongst men. My name is Ian Mwangi. Ian is a medical doctor that works at St. Luke's Hospital, Orthopedic and Trauma Hospital in Eldoret. But for the sake of this show, Ian Mwangi is also a minister with an organization called David's Company. And David's Company is an organization or a ministry, we call it a ministry, that handles and that is charged with the responsibility of raising men who are to be fathers and leaders in this our generation. So many men today, so many people wearing trousers, but very, very few men today who you can call to be true leaders and to be true fathers. And so that is what we do. And I'm glad to be here with the rest of these gentlemen so that we can be able to see how to address this important topic, even in our area today.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And of course, if you're already tuned in, let's know where you're tuned in from and let us know if you're getting us quite well now. Let's go to Bwana Fred. Fred, of course, you have the opportunity to also say hi to our viewers.
Thank you so much, MC Ian Kalia. My name is Frederick Owade. I'm a counseling psychologist based in Eldoret at Rehema Building, 4th floor. I want to say again thank you for inviting me to this show today. I don't take it for granted because this is a very delicate topic, but no one can detect the delicateness of the topic. Men are suffering out here in silence, and since you have taken this opportunity to invite us here, at least to sensitize the society or the community on what men should do and what should be done by the society, or any intervention that needs to be done. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity, and I wish all men could listen to this because it is going to be a good eye-opener to the rest of the society. Thank you, and back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. And also now, let's give Steve a chance to also introduce himself. Karibu sana, Steve, feel at home.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kalia. Such a great opportunity to be part of this conversation. It's a very important conversation. As you've heard my name, Mr. Steve Kisorio. I happen to work at an agency called Michigan Education Center. I work as a visa officer, and also I am a teacher there. I also happen to be part of the David's Company ministerial team. I am a minister, and I'm so conscious of such a conversation because it touches the heart of society. Anytime when you're talking about men, men happen to be the foundation of the society. So it's a very, very critical topic, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And now, if you are at home there, you have any questions to ask any of our guests, at least you now have their profiles. And of course, if you will be following the discussion, then you'll also get a chance to say something. So if you're already watching, let me know where you're tuned in from. Of course, I can sample a few comments already. There is somebody called Matthew Comment says, good morning. Very nice media. Mildred Susan says, good morning, team. Thank you so much. Sylvia Baraza says, good morning. Actually, she's saying there's no sound, but it's been confirmed that we actually have some sound. So maybe, Dr. you need to mute your Facebook broadcast. Anyway, thank you so much for the comments. Of course, tell a friend who may not be watching that there's a friend somewhere who is saying something so important, and there's need to discuss it. And just to now set the pace for us, I'll come to you, Ian. Just briefly tell us what David's Company do.
Thank you very much, MC Kalia. And I would say that when I talk about David's Company as an organization, it is so much in my heart because first I am a beneficiary and I am a product of David's Company. David's Company is a ministry to men. And when I say ministry, it is an organization that basically handles the lives of men, from children, young boys who are in their preteens, young boys who are in school in early grades, young men who are teens in high school, and even in primary school. We also are able to journey through with young men who are in colleges, and single men who have finished college and they're working, and married men. So basically we handle and we tackle men. And men, when we talk about men, this is about empowering men. Now, one of the things that has happened in our society, and so many challenges that are happening in our society today, is because men are not empowered. And when I say men are not empowered, is that men are not trained. What does it mean to be a man? Today, if you ask a man, a random man today, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a young man in school? How should you handle yourself? How should you handle school? How should you handle girls, especially when you're in puberty and adolescence? What does it mean to be a man that is working in a corporate field? And what does it mean to be a man that is married? And when I talk about David's Company, which is an organization that started in 2013, as part of the team that started, I've seen myself grow from when I was a student, journeying through medical school, as a single man and getting married right now with a family. And today the solidity that I see and the stability that I have, I can attribute it to having been trained in every of that stage of my development as a man. And so that today I can say that yes, there is a way. Today there is manhood is not just, it is not just out there. Manhood is learned and manhood is taught. Mental health is not just something that is out there. When you are stable as a man, when you are trained as a man, you can be conscious of who you are and you can be able to handle and respond to life in every aspect of it. And so that is David's Company in a nutshell. Thank you, MC.
Okay, thank you so much for the comprehensive introduction. As much as it was short, of course, it's very clear. And I'll come to you, Fred. Now, somebody would ask a very big questions. Is there a difference between the mental health, or rather the mental wellness of a man different from that of a lady? Are there unique mental concerns therapist for a man that would be different from that of a lady?
Thank you, MC Kalia, for that. A man and a woman, definitely they are different in various aspects and several aspects. The difference comes in when you look at a man is behaving deliberately according to how the society is expecting him to behave. That is one big challenge that a man has. We are seen as very strong people, very strong creations of God, and women are seen as the weaker vessels, the weaker creatures. So being a man in a society comes with a burden, comes with a lot of expectations, and therefore a man is kind of subconsciously cautious on how he should handle some situations, especially challenges. So we are always told that when we are still young, we are told, you are a man, you are a boy. A boy should not behave like this, you are not a girl. So this thing is instilled in us in our childhood, and therefore we grow up with it. We grow up with it, trying to please the society, trying to prove to the society that we are actually men. So we live with a lot of expectations that comes as a burden to us as men. So the way we behave, the way we handle ourselves, with an expectation that the world is watching, the society is looking at me, and that brings the difference between a man and a woman.
Okay, and of course, we'll still come back to now investigate how should the man handle this pressure? How should the man handle these expectations? And how does it also affect his thinking? Now, coming to you, Bwana Kisorio, the first thing you'd want to look at is the experience you've had at David's. First of all, from a personal point of view, how different do you think it would be if you are not part of David's Company?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kalia, for that question. I would say it is good that you have asked that question because there are two parts of my life. Before I joined the David's Company, I think I joined the David's Company in 2014 going to 2015. And when I joined the first time, I was just a natural man. But through the work that has gone through in my life, I have seen a lot of changes and transformation happening, and it has called to question the definition of true manhood, because in society there is already a definition that is there, and through David's Company there has been a redefinition of manhood. And first of all, a man has been configured. A man came from God. And the fact that a man came from God, only God is the one who understands the right configuration and the way a man was fashioned in the inside. So there is the inner part of a man which is spiritual, and then we have the outer part of a man which is natural. So most of the time when we come to issues of mental health, most of the time we'll handle things on the surface, and we look at things, handling symptoms, yet there is a spiritual problem that is inside a man. And we will have solutions which are temporal. We will not address the matters from the root. And through David's company, I've been able to understand myself as a man. I've been able to have the self-awareness that I'm firstly spiritual, so that when I'm attending to myself, I don't attend to the symptoms of a deeper problem that already exists. So I've seen transformation happen, and my life has really changed to the better. So that is what I would say. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll come back to you. Bwana Owade. I'll ask you the question. What are the issues that you're handling currently in relation to men?
Currently, the prevailing issues in as far as man is concerned, the pressures that are there. Number one, man being the head of the home, the head of the family. That is already an issue, just being the head. There is a lot of expectation from the family, There is also what we call work pressure. Work pressure comes when we have a lot of targets at our workplace. Like for example, I've been in the NGO world for the last, I think, 8 years, and I've come to understand the work pressure that comes to a man. And with this work pressure, there is also another pressure from the home that comes and couples up with this, and that brings down the man. There is what we call the economy that is currently hit, that hits the man. There is a lot to do with social life, the social life that exists out here, the drinking, the partying, and everything. A man also wants to prove a lot to the society that I can fit in a certain society, in a certain class of men and women, visiting recreational places when we don't have the capacity to sustain it. So many things are coming. Relationship issues. It has reached a time whereby a man feels threatened in the house to an extent that he thinks, I'm not coming in as a man, I'm not coming in to fit and to supply or to perform my duties as a man. So a man has a lot in his head, and therefore a lot needs to be done so that this man can be helped, some interventions to be done so that this man can live a normal life. Thank you.
Okay, and of course I'll still come back to you for what is normal. Anyway, let's now go to Ian. And Ian, the question I'll ask you is, what is the role of organizations now like yours in making sure that we have men who are men? Of course, the definition has been given by Steve. So what does it take then to have a man who is aware of themselves and not falling again to the expectations of the society? Because we are saying that now there is a difference between how a man and a woman are perceived by society. How do we stand in the middle to make sure that we do not also again end up in stigma, rather than ending up in a place where now we have men who are also able to control themselves?
Thank you very much, MC Kalia. I'll connect several things, and I believe this is a very, very, very crucial question, especially to every man that is listening to us and viewing us today. Now, I want to say that the day we are in today, we are living in a very unprecedented day. And this is what I mean. We are living, and today we're in a day where there is cross-sections of time. We have several generations. We have an older generation of men, And this older generation of men were trained by their fathers, by their grandfathers, by their uncles, through the traditional approach on what it means to be a man. And as boys grew up, and the boys grew up to become men, they were taken through different rites of passage, circumcision, and they were told several things on what it means to be men. But at the same time, we're also living at a very interesting time of the postmodernism age, where there is a lot of influence from the West, from the East. We are living in a day of AI. So you have a young man, and we have many, many young people today, many young men today. Yes, there is what they have been told by their parents, by their fathers. This is what it means to be a man. There is what the older generation of our fathers, who we highly respect, how they taught us to be men. They told us, like Mr. Owade has said, being a man, you must brace everything. Being a man, you cannot feel pain. I mean, very few of us saw our fathers cry. I have never seen my father cry. The few men I have seen, the few men who have said that their fathers cried was only when their mother died. I mean, but seeing a father cry, it's difficult. Many of us grew up and our fathers told us they were number one in school. I mean, you wonder who was ever number last, if all of them were number one. And so, you see, what is happening in our society today with many men, we find ourselves in an unprecedented place with a lot of pressure. Apart from being in David's company, I'm also a doctor. And I see many men coming to the hospital with headaches, with some of them with fainting episodes. We will do all investigations, and they are normal. We have so many young men, especially right now that we are going to second term and third term. I'm going to get so many candidates, so many young men, boys in class 8, boys in junior secondary school, young men who are in Form 4. And these ones are coming because of the pressure to perform in class 8 and in Form 4, academic pressure. I mean, so there is academic pressure, there is peer pressure, and especially to men who are a bit older, there is so much peer pressure that is happening in the schools today. And not just in the schools, you may just think it's happening to young people in schools, but it's happening across board. It's happening in our workplaces. As Mr. Owade has said, when you see a colleague has bought the latest X5, you also want to, and you go and you get a loan. And so a lot of pressure, peer pressure, financial pressure, a lot of economic pressure. Our economy today is not good at all. Economic pressure. And all this pressure comes to a person. That's why you hear people having even a lot of blood pressure. I am treating so many young people in their 30s, which was an unheard thing, who have blood pressure, high blood pressure. And so where does David's company come in? And I want to relate with what my brother Steve has said. Now, David's company as an organization, it seeks to come and address the source of the problem. Now, we are saying that we are at a cross-section of tradition, of the old culture. And we are also in a place where the Western, the AI has come. We are having a lot of information from the West, what it means to be a man. But is there a blueprint of what manhood is? If today we keep on having changing goalposts of what manhood is, then what shall my son, who is now, right now almost 2 years, what shall he learn of what manhood is? Is being a man what modernism is saying? Is being a man what tradition is saying? And that is why we are saying today that manhood was designed from the beginning. And in the beginning, God said, let us make man in our own image after our likeness. If you look at Genesis chapter 2:15, it says, and God put the man, and specifically they are not just man, male man he had made, and he put him in the Garden of Eden. And what did he put him in the Garden of Eden to do? He said to tend it and to keep it. Those are two very important words, to tend it and to keep it. And so in the configuration of a man, and this is what David's company is all about, is to show and train every man regardless of age, regardless of, I was about to say gender, regardless of background, regardless of color, that that in their configuration they are a leader. A leader is not positional. A leader is somebody who works out everything. Any man can work out their academics. Any man can work out their business. Any man can work out their profession. There is a spirit in a man. Any man is a father. when I see a young lady in my environment and I'm married, what do? Do I start what the generation today says kula kwa macho, or do I see that this is my sister? And so David's company comes there and trains you that as a man, you can look at every lady in your environment as a sister, that you can actually protect them, that you can actually cover them. And so that is what an organization like David's company seeks to do. It seeks to show men that they are configured in a certain way. That configuration is not firstly external, it's firstly internal. And when you start dealing with things from inside out, then these other challenges that are external will be able to be addressed. Thank you, MC.
Wow. Now, so of course, you've seen me looking at my laptop and smiling. It's because a very funny comment came into my inbox, and I think I'll direct that to Kisorio. Help me give Kisorio the microphone. Kisorio, somebody says, "Bana wanaume hawashare hivi tu bwana." Like men don't share things. Like men hide it for themselves, and the only thing you'll see is a man just falling down, and then that's when you know, okay, so this guy's been going through this. How do you encourage men to share?
So thank you for that question. I think most of the time their process will be very, very internal. Their processes are not externalized. And because of the coding and the configuration that was shared by my brother, Mr. Ian, says that a man was configured for fatherhood and for leadership. And because of this configuration, most of the time, because of leadership, a man will have a problem when he has to be told what to do. So a man all the time will want to take up everything upon himself to attend to everything. And it will also remove that aspect of vulnerability. It will also remove the aspect of sharing whenever you are going through a difficult time. And I will also base this one in my own journey, because I've also been journeying as a man. And most of the time, because of that coding that you are supposed to provide leadership and oversight in an environment, you will have a problem in sharing with another man because of that component of ego. And that ego is not a bad thing, by the way. Ego was put by God just to give a man a sense of self-confidence, just to be confident about life. But now, because of the pressure from culture, expectations from society, a man will be carrying a lot of burden in the inside, and they don't want to share. Because anytime when you share, it shows that you are a weak person, because you are configured and there's the pressure that you must lead, that you must provide oversight. So because of this pressure, it will be difficult for you to share. But I would just encourage by saying that no man is an island. We need each other. We need each other. There are times when you are going through a difficult time, it's better you share these things even to another person. But I will also say something about manhood, that we have been configured, when Mr. Mwangi said work, we've been configured to work. And every man has a potential inside of them. And this potential has to be worked out. If you don't realize your potential, what happens is you will end up in depression. You will end up in, because there's a potential. I'll use an example. There's a potential in me to generate, let's say something like money, finances. I have a potential. There's an industry in me that I can work out and produce money. So if I don't work out that potential, what happens is that I will be weakened and I will not be able to generate. So tomorrow I don't have what to pay for my rent. I don't have what to provide. Maybe if you're a married man, you don't know how to provide even for your family, and you end up being what? Depressed. So that inability to work out things and to work out until you realize your potential is what makes most men to enter into depression. Thank you.
Okay, and this goes to Bwana Owade. When I shared yesterday the poster that you people will be coming to the show, a fellow therapist, okay, a fellow of yours now, texted in saying stigmatization is the word. Let's define stigma and destigmatization and relate it to what the man is going through.
So, what is stigma? When something happens to you, when any significant change, that kind of negative takes place in you, and the way the society will respond towards that change in you will make you behave in a certain way, will make you conduct yourself in a certain way because the society knows this about me. Let's talk about something like maybe HIV. When you are diagnosed with HIV today, and accidentally it leaks out that so-and-so contracted HIV, the way the society will respond towards that, and the way you as a person that has been affected will react towards the society's response. That is what stigma is. It has a negative connotation whereby you will tend to behave in a certain way or conduct yourself, and what will you be doing? You'll be trying to hide from the society. You'll be trying, anything you do, you'll be doing it like you are sneaking to do it. So, to destigmatize is just to unwind the stigma. To unwind the stigma, to make, to bring in some elements of normalcy. Normalcy that this thing happens, this thing is not a death sentence or it's not anything shameful. So when coming back to mental health, you realize that someone coming for therapies, especially a man, it's like this man is sneaking in for therapies because at the back of his mind, he thinks that the world is going to realize that I have a problem. Now, a man having a problem is like, it's a crime. It's not a crime to have a problem. Problems are there for us, and the only thing we need to do is just to see the right coping mechanisms and how to approach this problem in a healthy way and how to find solutions. Now, to destigmatize, we have to destigmatize issues or matters of mental health. So when we destigmatize, what are we trying to achieve? We are trying to tell the society that it is okay, it is right for a man to seek help because a man is human, just like a woman. So women have that idea in them, that thought in them, or that they are weaker vessels. So even if I go in for therapy sessions, for therapy services, there's no problem. I'm a woman. But a man, especially in the African context, it's still a journey. It's still a journey that needs to be achieved, and therefore, destigmatization needs to be done. Organizations should just come out in good strength and in good power and energy to destigmatize many things in relation to mental health. So, when a man comes in for sessions, what should we do to ensure that this man comes in confidently without any fear? Not like you are sneaking into a VCT room. You don't want people to see you. You are sneaking in and you would rather go maybe even in the night. And that is why sometimes back we used to offer the moonlight VCTs because we realized that people don't want to be seen. And the same happens with mental health. Men don't want to come because they'll be seen as, you're putting on a nice jacket like Bwana Ian here, but coming in, people will see me, what is happening with Ian? What's happening with that good suit he's putting on? Nini mbaya na yeye? Uliona akiingia kwa sessions, alienda for counseling. Alienda for counseling. So such things needs to be dealt with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And that rightly goes in with some of the feedback that we're getting. Of course, before I go to Ian once again, there is a lot of feedback that is coming in. Saimom Shairi says, men are also human, not human, and so guys should not have more expectations or more toughness. It's due time men open up that their worries and sorrows, mental health is real. Then there is somebody called Queen Shi who says, I think men like to show how great they are and women will believe in them. So they should learn to talk and say no to situation where they can't handle. Then Sherop from Kapcherop says, that's what she's written, not me. Says that women commonly now say that today's men are weak, and they are also in the same generation. So I don't know which generation these women saw that they are saying the men of today are weak. Quite interesting feedback there. That every lady right now says men today are weak. And we just tend to ask ourselves then, where are they getting the comparison? Maybe Mwangi, as you answer the next question, then that should be the next thing that you'll talk about. But then, as I come to you at this time, Mwangi, we've talked about okay, now, removing the stigma. Let me use before I bite. So we've talked about the stigma bit of it, and encouraging men to come out to speak about the issues. But I'll ask the questions. Are communities ready for this? Are we prepared to have men opening up? Are there avenues available apart from David's company? Or what needs to be done to encourage the community that men also cry?
Thank you very much, MC Kalia. Every time, like my brother Steve spoke, every time you mention a man is not just, and with all due respect to our very good sisters, a man is not just a man. A man means so much. A man, like has been said, is the foundation of the society, is the foundation of our community. And there are so many efforts that have gone on, and there are so many efforts that are ongoing, like Mr. Owade has spoken about. And there are many efforts going on in school setups. I am aware of friends of mine who do a lot of conversations with students in high schools, in primary schools, in colleges. There's a lot of efforts that is happening in the corporates. I am aware, for example, the organization from which Mr. Owade is from is doing a lot of outreach to many of the corporate organizations that are here, even in this town of Eldoret. So there are so many efforts that are ongoing in terms of handling mental health. And I want to complement these efforts by saying that the aspect and the issue of a man is what we are seeing today with the issue of the aspect of manhood is something that has to take us back to the root. If we don't go to the root, regardless of the many efforts that are going on, then what we are going to do, we are going to handle this matter superficially. And when I say superficially, is because I have seen so many men. Currently, I have several men who I have treated in the hospital who have had an alcoholic use disorder. And they have gone to different rehabs. I have one of them who is a very close friend of mine. He has gone to like 6 rehabs. As you're speaking today, the entire family is depleted of resources. Every time the mother will call me of this young man, he will tell me, this Daktari, Mr. Mwangi, I'm sending so-and-so to you. I don't have resources, just help him. And I can hear the cry in that mother. And this young man has been to many rehabs. Rehabs in Bungoma, a rehab here in Eldoret, rehabs in Nakuru, rehabs, I will not mention the other places that he has gone to. So many rehabs. I have another one, an older man who is a father of one of our gentlemen who is in David's company, who has been to another, who has had this issue of the entire issue of alcoholism, which actually affects the mental health and the mental wellness of himself and his family. And he went to rehab for 3 months. No sooner had he come back, the same day, the man was back to his den with his friends. And so that tells me there is something that, regardless of the many efforts that we are doing, that is not being attended to, that is not being tackled to. And until we go to the base of it, then what is going to happen, like that Mshairi has said, then we are going to have men who are not vulnerable and men who do not know what to do. And that is why the main aspect that communities have to do. And in this place, I want to speak especially to organizations and to communities, especially church communities. We have a very, very big role in the lives of men. And the biggest role we have is when we bring back men into the place of their true formation, the place where they were formed. If you look at this is a thermal cup. This thermal cup was made specifically to be able to keep a hot drink. And because of how it is formed, it is configured and it is able to keep this drink that is in it to be hot. This is a microphone that I'm holding. This microphone was made by the manufacturer to be able to amplify sound with the rest of the equipment that are there. And in the same way, a man was made. A man did not just come out of nowhere. A man was made and designed, and a male man was designed so well. And a male man was designed to be able to cope with pressure. And that is why in the configuration of a man, he feels as though he has to be strong. Men want to appear strong because inside them there is something that tells them they are strong. When you go to the jungle and you see a male lion is not like a female lion or a cub. When they are confronted by danger, they are the first one to go and attack. So there is something in a man. There is something in a man that tells them that this is who you are, but they are not strong enough to do it. And it is the responsibility of our communities, including David's Company and other organizations, to be able to bring back a man to the original configuration, the spirit of a man. That when a man comes into the place of a rebirth, when they become born again, and they get the spirit of God inside them, then they can be able to function as fathers and leaders. They can be able to confront. As a man, I am confronted by many situations, day by day. I am confronted. I am married. If you are married, you know. Kama wewe ni mwanaume na umeoa, utafika nyumbani na utapata sometimes vitu sio mzuri.
Mambo haiendi venye unasema.
Mambo haiendi venye unafikiria. Right now kuna maneno ya school fees. This week there are so many men ambao wanahitaji kupeana school fees. So if a man does not know that if a man say does not have money, what should they do? Should they recoil? But what we are supposed to train our men in these organizations, and especially in the spiritual organizations, is that they are empowered to be able, they have an inherent strength with them that is given by God to be able to handle every situation and every scenario. Then finally, MC Kali, as I exit, is that question that Wakap Cherop ameuliza. Hiyo swali ni muhimu sana. Why is it our fathers, our grandfathers were not like this? Our grandmothers depended on our grandfathers. Today, as you are speaking, I meet women every day in the hospital crying. Up to yesterday, a woman who had gone through a miscarriage. And I asked her, when you went through this miscarriage, where is your husband or where is the man? She told me the man is not there. He's attacking me. This man is not willing to commit. So I ask, where are these men? And I want to ask us as brothers here, the viewers, that there is a way God formed us. But let me tell you, in this whole affair, it's not just God. Remember, there is an enemy out there. It's called the devil. If you look at the book of Isaiah 14, from verse 12, it says that how are you fallen, Lucifer? Lucifer is the devil. You have fallen and you have come here to earth and you have weakened. So what has the devil done? He has weakened. What weakens people? I'll tell you, especially men. What weakens us as men? What weakens us? You go to the internet and you're not able to handle your internet properly. You go, you see inappropriate things, pornography. And I'll tell you, gentlemen, I was there and it weakened me. You go, you are with your friends and then you enter into what Mr. Frederick has said, and you are, instead of spending your evenings properly investing in yourself, you are in those dungeons with friends. And I'll tell you the truth, one thing, men today have become superficial. They're not helping each other. So when we are drinking together, men are not there to share their problems. They are there to try to brainwash themselves. And it has come to a place where we must get into environments where we share, we are vulnerable with each other. Mr. Kisorio here will be vulnerable to me. I'll be vulnerable to him. And so that we can be able to come into a true place of strength. So that hata kama sina school fees leo, I can actually open up. And who knows, Mr. Frederick has that, can lend me as I work out my shamba, as I work out my business. And probably in a week's time, I'll have the resource and I'll return to him. And so we have to go back to the original configuration of men. The true spiritual configuration of a man. We are fathers and leaders. We are not just people who wear trousers. God has made us to be able to cope with situations by his spirit, and so we need his help.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is Ian Mwangi from David's company. And we are coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Dawi Afrique Photography is a studio in Eldoret town that does video and photo production. So anytime you need anything that goes into video and photo production, consider working with us. And if you need to dress nicely, if you need to dress according to the occasion, walk into D-Square Fashion House, which is situated at the 4th floor of Ketia's building in Eldoret. Remember, they also have a school to teach you how, if you want to take up fashion as a career. And if you're watching us for the first time, this show usually comes in from Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 a.m. We are here and we are committed to make sure that we keep edifying the community. Mondays we do Monday briefing, which is about politics, law and governance. Tuesday is the Tuesday expert, and if you know of any experts whom you think should be on the show, let us know, maybe in the inbox, or you can even still put it in the comment section. Wednesday we talk about health, and today being Thursday, it is the social square, and so that is why we have this gentleman talking about the mental health of men in Kenya today. And I'll still ask you to give in your feedback. Of course, if you feel there's something that we need to tackle within the few minutes that we still have, you can shoot your questions. I can see Ian Kibet Kimtai says pamoja. Mary Gederu Luvembe says every man can transform and become a man of strength. MC Masid says good morning, tuned in from Eldoret. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I'd already read that. So let's keep giving in the feedback. Of course, I'll make sure that I sample a few of them as we continue. If you have not liked the broadcast, please help me click the like button so that I can know you are here. If you have not shared, or help me share the broadcast so that we have as many people watching this particular show. And if you would want to also watch us tomorrow, of course I know you may want to watch us tomorrow, then click the notification button. There is a notification button so that the next time we go live, you are aware that we are actually live. Now let's come back to you, Bwana Kisorio. And the question I'll ask you is, let's talk about men and alcoholism. How do we end up there? Why is it? The other day there were statistics that women are now drinking more than men, and people were like, they are now shocked. They are not even, like, people are not even for it. They're like, hey, I just asked about it. No. You see, they're like, it's even be fashion that I think men should now drink more than women. Why do you have that attitude?
So first of all, what I've seen in society is that women always amplify what is inside of men. So when there is order in men, women will amplify order. When there is disorder in a man, women have a way, they amplify disorder. So it's like that. So women are, most of the time, if you check, God took something from him and created the male man. And then when he was created the female man, he didn't go back to himself. He went to the male man and took something from the male man to do what? To create the female man. So the female man is a reflection of the male man, and the male man is a reflection of who? Of God. So always, women are always reflecting what is in a man. And that's why most of the time you'll find men will always think the problem is the woman. I've also been there myself, where when you enter into a conflict, you will think the problem is the woman. And most of the time, a woman is just amplifying who you are. It's like that. So going back to the question of alcoholism, as I had said earlier on, alcoholism is a symptom of a problem. It is not the problem. So just like a car will need a mechanic, a man will need God who created him. Because a car was created mechanically. So whenever there is a malfunctionality or dysfunctionality, it will need who? It will need a functional mechanic to repair the car. Just like also a man is spiritual, and he has spiritual faculties in him. So whenever there is any disorder in a man, we don't attend to alcoholism. We have to attend to the problem that leads the man to go into alcoholism. Because alcoholism is just a reaction of a problem. When a man is depressed, he thinks that when I go and drink, I will do what? I will recover from the stress, or I will be relieved from the stress. But it doesn't relieve a man from the stress. It even amplifies the problem more. And so, just like my brother has said, that what men need is the Spirit of God, because they are spiritual. They will need the Spirit of God in them to help them to to overcome and to help them to come to their true function, because their functionality is spiritual. So that is what I think is needed in our time, for men to be born again, for men to be brought into, because they cannot enter their functionality before they get born again and the Spirit of God enters them to begin to work in them, so that we begin to see a spiritual function in a man. Otherwise, if we don't see that, if that doesn't happen, we'll just be seeing manifestation and cycles. Men will be going into cycles and cycles of alcoholism, depression. We try to give them, and I'm not disputing that they need therapy, but what happens is that we will not have attended to the real problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And now coming to you, Mr. Wade, of course, I believe as we now come to the towards the end of this particular interview, let's talk about men and money, men and careers, and men also in relation to women in careers. There is an argument that the current man can't handle a working lady, or rather a career woman, as they put it out there. What is your opinion from a professional point of view? Where is the Kwamaya?
Men, that's quite interesting. A man not being able to handle a working woman. This is an empowered woman we are talking about. Yes. We should not go and talk about the man in this situation. We should talk about the woman. Yeah. Because what happens when a woman gets money? Yeah. In most cases, a woman changes. In most cases. If you take a small survey of empowered women, women who have got the technical skills, women who are marketable in the industries. So when these women are so empowered, something changes in them. And that is true. Something changes them. Now, the problem of a man here is to handle the change that is in a woman. Now, when my wife earns more than I do, it kinds of drains some power in me, and there are some things, or there is a way I needed to handle this woman that I cannot handle her the way I wanted to handle her. So what has changed? It's because of the empowerment in this woman. Yes. Now, when money comes in a woman's hand, good money, it jeopardizes my position sometimes. This is very psychological. Yes. It jeopardizes my position as a man. It jeopardizes my authority as a man. And it jeopardizes my power again as a man in the house. And it is not communicated verbally, but this is just it is just something that exists. It exists. We can feel it, but we cannot see it. Yes, this is good man that has come. Now, if my wife tells me by the end of this month I'm acquiring a new car, and I've not given her the money. Yeah, I know she's doing a good job. She's earning good money. Now, that car also comes with some things which might be burdensome to me as a man. Now, we are talking about the independence of a woman. Yeah. A man, kind of naturally, or how we were brought up, we are supposed to be the one who are calling the show or calling the shots. But here is it's a case whereby a woman does things independently with her money, with her status in her job, and everything with her position. Now, how does a man look at this? A man wants to control a woman. Can you control this woman with that kind of money? She's earning more than you do. Can you control her?
What do you do?
You simply live with it.
Tell the ladies in the broadcast log out for a minute. We need to have a man talk here. My director, Mildred, please step out.
Ladies, what I will say, the field is open. it's a free world. It's a competing world. You even compete with your husbands. But kindly, don't take it to that level that may make the home dysfunctional. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Same question to you, Mr. Mwangi. Daktari. Unajua labda daktari mtu wake ni consultant. How do you handle this, bro?
Thank you very much, MC Kalia. Actually, I prayed that you'd ask me that question. I was actually praying.
So prayers do get answered, actually.
Prayers do work, man. Prayers do work. I actually prayed that you'd not ask me any other question. Because for me, it's a very practical scenario. And what we need, men and brothers, and as I speak to you, I want to speak into your hearts, direct into your hearts, because there is a lot of confusion in the world today. And I wish we can even actually have many sessions like this, even afterwards, MC Kalia, because there are many thorny issues surrounding this, and probably 1 hour, 1.5 hours cannot do justice to this very important topic of mental health, and not just mental health, of manhood. Manhood is so broad and it's so vast. Now, I want to echo one statement that was made by the wisest man that ever lived in this world, who was not Socrates and who was not who was not Plato. The wisest was Jesus, but before Jesus, there was a man called Solomon. There's something he said. He said, truly, only one thing I have found, that God made man perfect, but he has sought out many schemes. Now, I'll tell you one thing. When the original framework of how God made things to complement each other, not to compete. And I want to be very practical, because before I got married, I used to wonder, what do I do? Many of my colleagues who are doctors went and they married, they looked for ladies they thought they could control. How do you, because a man, and we are taught like this, and I know many of you men who are listening and viewing, you have been told, ukienda kutafuta mtu wa kuoa, tafuta ambaye, number one, who earns lesser than you. Yes, you can have girlfriends who are your colleagues. You can have girlfriends who are beautiful. But when you want to settle down for a wife, go to the village. Brothers, you are looking at me. You know that is true. You are told. In fact, unaambiwa, I'm not Kalenjin, I know, kap. Nyumba ya nani, boma ya nani, kap. Enda huko. Yule msichana.
Alafu pia age.
That's the second thing. You are told, make sure that lady is younger than you. And I want to tell you, gentlemen, that is the same thinking that I had as I grew up. But as I was empowered, remember the key word I have kept on saying is empowerment. As you are empowered, you get to know one thing, that manhood is not about money. It's the biggest lie, gentlemen. And many of you who are listening to me, you are fighting me as I say this. But I will tell you, manhood is not about money. In fact, many people that I have treated in the hospital with many conditions, they have a lot of money. Many women that I see with depression in the hospital, their husbands have a lot of money. Manhood is not about money. Manhood is not about property. Manhood is something inherent in a man. Now, I'll say something else. When I was empowered, I did not go to look for a woman who was disempowered. If you look for a woman who is disempowered, they are going to disempower you. I looked for a strong woman. My wife is a strong woman. By the way, my wife is a doctor, as I am a doctor. I would have gone to look for, and I don't want to say that a nurse is not as strong, is not, but you see in how people define things, like in terms of cadres, many of people, my colleagues, they have thought that if I marry a nurse, I can control them. It's not true. Eventually, they end up controlling you.
No, but then growing up, actually, and not because of society or anything.
Yeah.
If I went to an hospital na kulikuwa na mwanaume na mwanamke, nilikuwa najuanga like the nurse is there.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, many times when you are doing ward rounds, there's a female doctor, they will be calling her sister. And then if there's a male nurse, they will be saying, daktari. But the configuration, how God ordained for things to be, is to complement each other. Now, is a woman who is earning a lot of money empowered? I would say no. Empowerment for a woman is not money. Empowerment for a woman is not that now they are able to they are now able to travel every once in a while and take a flight and go to holiday. They go to Dubai, they go to Italy. And I know many women who are looking at me, they would tell me, no, you are wrong. Because many women are told, before you settle down for marriage, make sure you have something for yourself. Ili huyo mwanaume asikucheze. And that is why I started with that statement that the wise man said, that God made everything perfect, but man has come out with many schemes. Let me tell you, a man needs to be strong, and a strong man in character. A strong man. Who is a strong man? A strong man knows that they are there to support a woman. I am married to my wife, and my wife is a doctor. When we go to the house, there is nothing doctor about our home. In fact, the title stops at the door of the hospital. Outside there, I am Mr. Mwangi. She is Mrs. Mwangi. When we go to the house, it does not appear how much I brought and how much she brought. By the way, when we started, she was earning more than me. And I was not threatened. Because when a woman also comes to the place of her true identity as a woman, she knows that what she carries is more than money. And God made a woman to support his agenda wherever she is. And that is why when Mr. Kisorio has said that a woman tends to amplify. If as a man you have insecurities, the woman will be more insecure. If as a man I go home and what defines me is the amount of money that I have in the account, the woman will also define herself around the amount of money she has. But when I know as a man that I am called to be the leader of that home, I am called to give direction to that home. And then my wife knows that she is not there as someone who is inferior, but she's there to support everything we are doing as a home, as a family, as a unit. And we are there to complement each other in strength. Then it does not, nowhere does it appear whether she's now a consultant and maybe a mere doctor, whether I am a nurse, whether I am earning 10,000 and she's earning 20,000. It does not appear because the definition has changed. So every man, no, when you are empowered as a male man, you are going to empower other women. Now let me tell you, when you are empowered as a man, you are not threatened. You are not insecure. You do not look at the woman as a threat. Some practical things. When I go to my house and I find that my wife is not in a good mood, it is my responsibility as a husband to be able to find out what is going on with her. If I find her even not answering me well, I do not try to allow something called the wrong male ego to rise in me. I took her from her father. And since she's not answerable to her father, I became her father, quote unquote. And so I am aware that everything about that woman is on me. She has to become a better person. It is my responsibility. And true, my wife today is a better person because I am empowered. And when she is empowered, do you know what she does? There is no way you can empower a woman as a man and she disempowers you. I'm telling you, women are powerful men. It is us who are insecure, us who want, who you know what we do? Sometimes, and our culture do not help. Our cultures do not help. Our cultures, how they started well. But sometimes because of insecurity of men, there are things which were inserted. What those things that were inserted, zinakuwa za kukandamiza kina mama. If women knew the power of a woman, they would allow the woman to flourish. They would allow her to develop. And when a woman develops, and she is also tuned to God, not just any woman, a woman tuned to God. When a woman is tuned to God, they will know they are not there to compete against this man. If you compete against him, what are you doing? You are disempowering yourself because everything you are is connected to this person. If you destroy him, you have destroyed yourself. You have destroyed your family. And so going back to the original framework is a male man empowered, becoming a father and a leader. Then a woman knowing herself in God, knowing that she's there to support the agenda of the kingdom. When you bring those together, then they are powerful. They are strong. And you know what happens to their families? They become strong families, strong homes. Their children, they are not children that grow up wondering what shall happen. They know, I am a boy. This is my life. I see daddy. Yesterday, I attended to a man in the hospital. This man that I attended to came with a sexually transmitted infection. Of course, you don't get a sexually transmitted infection from having one partner. No. So, because of my awareness of ministry, even as a doctor, I could not just treat him. So I asked him, where did this come from? He told me, si unajua sisi wanaume, I have 2 girlfriends. So, sisi tunakuanga hivi. I told him, what about your wife? You've gotten this infection. Of course, when you have a sexually transmitted infection, you will pass it over to your wife. And I told him, right now you are 35. Now, give yourself, you have 2 boys. He told me he has 2 boys. What will happen to them? Give them, they're around 5 and 6. Give them around 5 years. Whoever you are, you're going to see it in your boys 3 times over. 3 times over. And I remember as I spoke to him, for the first time, sense came to him. I told him, right now you don't have a girl. You don't have a daughter. But you're still young. What if very soon you get a daughter? And your daughter, when she's 12, whatever you are doing, you know, men think that what they do, we normally think that what we do, even if we do it in the secret, it is in the secret. No. A man is so powerful. Whoever they are, it's there in the environment. You may smoke outside there, and the boys do not know, but you will see your boys smoking when they are 9 years or 10 years old. When you get your daughter, and you're a man, and you men who are looking at me, just listen to me carefully. Your daughter is 12 years old. I teach teens in church. And some of them, I see they are 12 years old and they have already started entering into some things. When I see those things, I see them in their fathers. I see them in their mothers. And so we may think that what we are doing is for ourselves, but our children are right there. And I'll tell you the truth, is that children don't do what you tell them. They do who you are. We are introducing a new generation, MC Kalia. This new generation is looking to us. They are looking to MC Kalia, they are looking to Mr. Kisorio, they are looking to Mr. Frederick. They are telling us, teach us, show us the way. And that is what David's company comes to do, to train men so that they can know the way, they can know themselves. I thank God I have come into a place, a certain place, a little place of knowing myself in a little way. And that has helped me to empower a few other men. And when a man is empowered, you're able to empower other women around you. And so you complement each other and you don't compete. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, now I'll come to you directly still and give you 30 seconds for your closing remarks now that time is no longer on our side.
Thank you very much, MC Kalia, for this opportunity. Once again, is to tell our men, we have come from an organization called David's Company. We exist to empower men to become true fathers and leaders. And so wonderfully to know that this Saturday, we have a men's meeting. I don't call it a men's conference. We have a men's meeting. I want to extend this invitation to all men in Eldoret town, including MC Kalia.
Will there be food?
There will be food.
I'll be there.
Because our women are empowered, they make wonderful food for us. So I want to extend this invitation to all men here, including our producer here. We are going to be at CARE, the Excellence Center. CARE, the Excellence Center is here in this town. It's about 20 meters away from St. Luke's, near the Hindu temple. It's a green building. We have our page. It's called David's Company page. It's a Facebook page. Please find us there. Join us this Saturday, 13th of May, at the CARE, the Excellence Center, from 2 to 5 p.m. For this is just a sneak preview, gentlemen. There is so much more, even as you get to meet other men, professionals, as you get to meet other men from different walks of life, even as we dissect this whole issue of men. Thank you very much, MC Kalia, and our viewers again for this opportunity. We look forward to having even more times even to discuss this important matter of manhood and also mental health in this our city today.
Okay, thank you so much, and also thank you for making time to be with us this particular morning. Mr. Frederick Owade, also give your closing remarks.
Thank you so much, MC Kalia. Mine will go to men. Men, I just want to share this with you. You are a human being, flesh and blood, with emotions. Don't bottle up. Speak, seek help, seek help. It's not a weakness in seeking help. It's the greatest strength that you can demonstrate. Seek help and seek help. Don't die alone. Don't die in solitude. Just seek help. It's the biggest strength. Thank you.
The biggest strength is seeking help. That is Mr. Fred Owade. He's a psychologist, and thank you for making time to be with us this particular morning. And we look forward to more conversations about mental health. Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Kisorio. Give us your closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kalia. I think for me, I would just say a man has been configured to work, so I ask that we work out. We have our spiritual faculties, we have our mental faculties, and our natural faculties. Let us work out, and when our spirit, soul, and body is in a position of harmony, you'll not enter into depression. Depression is just an outcome of you not working out your potential, and then you get frustrated. So let's work out our spiritual potential, let's work out our solical potential, let's work out our natural potential, and we'll not enter into depression. So that is what I would say. Just to correct something that Mr. Ian said, it is 200 meters, not 20 meters. 200 meters from St. Luke's as you're going to Medihill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Of course, Felki J says, I appreciate such conversation a lot. Thank you so much. Martha Mash Kitum says, the challenge men nowadays are so lazy. Most of them never provide for their families. And kindly give the definition of women empowerment. Okay, maybe we'll get a chance to do that next time. Then Queen She says, Leo Nile Siku. And somebody else says, Leo Kumechemka, that is Kosgei Arab Chesir. And there's somebody else called Laban Antheo says, wonderful. A leader is one who works out things until they come out to strength and achieve their full potential. Thank you so much. I can see somebody has tagged in David's company. Of course, let's also follow them. When you go to the comment sections, you can see the link that leads to their page. Esther Wanjama says, wonderful conversation. It is coded in a man to function in strength and to lead and to give direction. Mercy Gatheru Luvembe says, every man can transform and become a man of strength. From me and on behalf of everyone who has made this particular broadcast successful, I would say it is still a mental health awareness month. I hope we'll also get a chance to have the ladies come to the show and tell us what they think about themselves in terms of mental health. And somebody else told me that when I bring the women, let them talk about themselves and not us. So I'll try to fix my script. So with that, my name is MC Kalia. This has been the Morning Glory Show, coming live from Dawi Afrique Photography. Anytime you need to take nice photos, ladies and gentlemen on set today can tell you, you get nice experience in front of the camera here. So make sure that you pass by here. If you need commercials for your companies, if you need to advertise, if you need a well-managed page, this is the place to get the right professionals. Till tomorrow we'll be dealing with art. So also make sure that you tune in the Morning Glory Show. Thank you.